Bastion is dead, long live Bastion. Yes, this bucket of bolts, welded to the bottom of the Overwatch barrel for so many years, is finally getting the upgrade he deserves. The removal of a tank role in Overwatch 2 was always going to bring about some pretty significant changes to heroes as we adapt to a brand new meta. And with one less damage sponge to keep Bastion safe and sound, he was first on the assembly line for a much needed service. The truth is, Bastion has been just about the worst hero in Overwatch for the last 5 years. You can watch a whole video on Bastion's tragic fall over on our channel, but he's been spending quite a bit of time with infamous tech tinkerer Torbjorn recently, and wow did they get busy. So let's take a look under the hood of this maligned machine's rework to see just what the devs have done to return Bastion to the top of the Overwatch meta where he belongs. But before we get all technical on you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification, and we'll keep you up to date on all the ways Overwatch 2 is ruining or improving your main hero. First and most importantly of all, Bastion has a cool new hat. Okay, so it's not all that important, but a fresh lick of paint does our favourite killing machine absolutely no harm at all. Courtesy of his new friendship with fellow underused DPS hero Torbjorn, Bastion is boasting a sleek, stylish redesign that gives us our first clues to the changes the weapons engineer has made to his new best friend. Let's start with the elephant in the room. You can move in sentry mode now. Yep, you heard me right. No longer will Bastion be a sitting duck when he's letting his turrets go burr through an entire enemy team. Now he can blast away on the fly, repositioning to avoid those annoying DPS flankers and causing maximum carnage with extreme prejudice. Now, yes, there are a few nerfs that come with that absolutely humongous buff, but we think you'll agree they're well worth it. For a start, movement is slower than in Recon form, but it doesn't look anywhere near as bad as we might have feared it would. Second, it's no longer a permanent transformation. Sentry mode is now an ability with its own limited time and cooldown. Bastion can stay in the hard-hitting turret configuration for 8 seconds before he needs a little 10-second break to cool off. A small price to pay for that additional movement. And also the damage is reduced by 40%. Okay, so it's hard to swing that one as a positive, but considering your enemies will have one less tank to rip through, you're hardly going to notice the difference, trust me. Now obviously, the removal of permanent sentry does mean the death of the pirate ship comp as we know it. No longer can this captain of the high escort map lead a merry crew to victory on the back of a single turret, but that's a good thing. Bastion was a niche pick for too long because of his lack of mobility, making pirate ship and occasionally bunker compositions the only time he was ever viable, and his new sentry ability is an important step on the way to changing that. Speaking of massive changes with potentially huge consequences, Bastion's self-repair is gone, which means you're gonna want to stay in the pocket of whatever supports make it into the sequel. Given Bastion's newfound movement, Lucio might well be a good pick thanks to his damage boosting and of course his ability to stop you from being exploded back to respawn in a teamfight. Instead, self-heal has been replaced by a brand new ability, a tactical grenade that behaves a little like Tracer's pulse bomb, but with just a little more bounce. You can hit it off walls, you can hit it off vehicles, ceilings, and the ground itself, but the moment this grenade makes contact with an opponent, they're already doomed, sticking to them and doing some serious damage on detonation. It won't hit as hard as Tracer's pulse bomb, obviously, but as a tactical, the potential uses for it are endless, allowing you to focus down individuals in 1v1s while laying down primary fire as well, or dealing spread damage across a whole team while pushing the objective. If you're smart, it could even be used to surprise enemies around corners or to threaten choke points before your team's next drive to the point. All in all, it makes Bastion a far more potent, dedicated DPS hero than self-heal ever did, and it can only be a benefit to his viability. Which leads us to his ultimate, probably Bastion's best bit of kit and the one thing least in need of a change, but Torb is nothing if not thorough, and the friendly Omnic has a brand new form to terrorise your enemies with. No longer will Bastion transform into a tank, instead he's a one-man artillery. Working a little like Doomfist's Meteor Strike, using Bastion's ult will now give you a bird's eye view of the battlefield, allowing players to pick 3 targets and rain hell down upon them. You get 3 shells that you can drop on a dime anywhere on the map, and while skilled players might be able to block or deflect the projectiles, a direct hit from one of these bad boys will cause a massive 600 damage, enough to one-shot basically any base hero in the game, at least in Overwatch 1. Again, the tactical nuances of this are incredible to think about, about. Artillery strike could be a last-gasp defense that pushes your opponents away from the objective. It could be a decisive attacking play that wins the team fight in overtime. It could be used to pinpoint enemy positions, providing vital intel and taking out high-value support targets, or better yet, the enemy team's only tank, opening them up to an assault from the rest of your squad. Combined with a tank like, say, D.Va or Wrecking Ball, the amount of damage you could deal to a single area would be astronomical. No longer is Bastion a simple aim-and-shoot damage hero, this is the thinking man's murderous robot. Finally, Bastion's primary fire is also getting a little bit of love. His machine gun doesn't have any spread, allowing him to be more pinpoint from a distance, increasing his range, and rewarding players with great aim with some messy long-distance kills. Finally, giving this scrap pile-bound DPS some much-needed range to help him compete with the likes of Ashe, who, let's face it, has been dominating the pick table for far too long now. Of all the heroes on the Overwatch roster, none were in as dire need for a rework than Bastion, but these changes have dealt with a lot of the issues that kept the Omnic out of top-tier play for so many years. It looks like he finally has a kit that fits into the game he's playing, and as pros and casual players alike begin to look ahead to Overwatch 2, Bastion could finally be ready to take his rightful place at the top of the Overwatch meta once again. We always knew he could do it.